Today we are going to move from just equations of lines to writing parallel and perpendicular equations. So first we're going to write an equation of a line that passes through a point and is parallel to a given line, and then second we'll write an equation of a line that passes through a point and is perpendicular to a given line. So I'm going to give you some steps to write an equation that is parallel. The first thing you have to do is identify the slope. Sometimes you have to do some work, but other times you just get to pick the slope out. And notice that parallel lines have the same slope, and so we're going to use the slope that we find. The second thing is to identify the point the line will pass through, and this will be given to you. From there you're going to use the point slope formula, which is what we used in our last assignment, and fill in the pieces. And then step 4, convert to the y-intercept form by solving for y. So this says that we're going to write the equation of a line that is parallel. So because it's parallel, we want to look at this equation that we're given and identify the slope. Because it's in slope-intercept form right now, we can just pick out the slope, and it's the value in front of the x. So it's -3 in this case. Here we have our slope and we have a point. So we're going to go on to step 3, which says we'll use the point slope formula and fill in the pieces. So we're going to fill it in with our slope is -3, and then our point, our x1 is 3, our y1 is 5. From here we distribute. We get -3x, and a -3 times -3 is +9. We add 5 to isolate and get the y by itself. And we're left with x equals -3x plus 14. Then you kind of want to look at these two equations right here. This is what we ended with, this is what we started with, and they should be very similar. They should have the same slope, but their y-intercepts should be different. Okay, same idea on example B. We're trying to write the equation of a line that is parallel, so we can just look at this equation because it's in slope-intercept form and pick out the slope, which is -1/2, and we'll use that and our point in point slope and fill in what we know. So here we know that our slope is -1/2, and our point, our y1 is 4, our x2 is our x1, sorry, is a -2. And because it's negative, it will make that positive. 2 steps. We distribute. Put -1/2x, and then -1/2 times a +2 gives us a -1. Then from there we add 4 to both sides to get the y by itself, and we get -1/2x plus 3. And again, you want to notice what we started with and what we ended with are very similar. The only thing that should be different is that intercept right there. C is a little bit different. Our formula is in standard form, so we have to manipulate this and solve for y. To solve for y, we're going to subtract 5x. So we get y equals, and I like to put my -5x first. And now that it's in slope-intercept, we can identify the slope. The slope is -5, and we're going to go back and use that point that was we were initially given. And then we'll fill our pieces into point slope. So we have y minus a y1, so minus a -1 becomes +1. Our slope is -5, and our x1 is 2. We will begin now by distributing the -5 to both. So we get -5x plus 10. Then we subtract 1. And that leaves us with y equals -5x plus 9. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is write the equation of a line that are perpendicular. So we'll start out by identifying the slope, and then this is what's really important. We will take the negative reciprocal because perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes. They also form right angles, but what we're going to be looking at is understanding that they have negative reciprocal slopes. Then we're going to identify the point that the line will pass through. That should be just given to us. Step 3, we'll use the point slope formula and fill in the pieces. You'll notice that the last 3 steps are very similar to writing the equations of a line that's parallel. And then the last thing that we'll do is convert to slope-intercept form by solving for y. So here we go. Here's the equation. We're supposed to write the equation that is perpendicular. So as we look at this line, we want to identify the slope. The slope is negative 1/3, but we want a slope that will be perpendicular to negative 1/3. To do that, we flip it and change the sign. So if we flip negative 1/3 and change the sign, it becomes positive 3/1, or just 3. And we're going to use this new slope that we've created and the point that we started with, and use point slope and fill in what we know. Okay, so we know that our y1 is 5 and our x1 is 3, and we also know our slope is 3. From here we distribute. So we get 3x, and 3 times 3 is 9, so minus 9. We add 5, and we get 3x minus 4. Okay, so again, we're identifying the slope. We want to take the negative reciprocal, so we flip it and change the sign. Since it's negative, our new one will be positive. We're going to use this slope and this point to write our equation. So we're going to fill in our point slope formula. We know that our y1 is 4, that comes from our ordered pair, and our x1 is a negative 2, so it becomes positive 2, and our slope is 3/2. We'll distribute 3/2. And 3/2 times 2 is just 3. Then we add 4 to isolate y. And we get y equals 3/2 x plus 7. Okay, our last one here, we can't just pick out slopes, so we have to isolate y, so we're going to do that by subtracting 5x. And we get y equals negative 5x plus 7. And from there we want to identify the slope is negative 5, but we want a slope that is perpendicular. So to get perpendicular, we flip it and change the sign. And I had a lot of kids forget that change the sign. So flip it, it becomes 1/5. We change the sign and it's positive. And then from here we go to our point slope formula. And we'll fill in what we know. We know that y1 is a negative 1, so it becomes plus 1. Our slope is 1/5, and our x1 is 10. We distribute the 1/5, and 1/5 of 10 is a negative 2. Then we subtract 1 to both sides. So y is 1/5 x minus 3. Okay, that should help you with your assignment 8.5 parallel and perpendicular lines of equations. Good luck.